The candle that burns twice as bright burns half as long. This quote, once again, from Tao Te Ching, chapter 56. And the reason why we started with this one, we're going to be talking about post purchase flows in Klaviyo. We want our candle to burn as bright and as long as possible. Okay. And this often requires a soft selling approach. Speaking of soft sales, so Lao Tzu had another, before you leave this video, so Lao Tzu had another banger. The tree that won't bend easily breaks in the storm. The hard and strong will fail, the open hearted prevail. So the one interpretation of this is when you're sending post-purchase emails, you need to adjust to your audience and your niche and your customers. And a lot of customers, especially let's say outside of the US, hate the very very hard selling approach and prefer a softer one. And before I make this video too, based on this quote, which I'm kind of doing to capture your attention, um, we will come back to this later, but I just wanted to throw some stats at you and just talk about why you should do post-purchase emails. I think it's clear that I don't think I need to sell this too much. Repeat customers spend 67% more than new customers. I think that makes sense. And client retention is key, which is why you're watching this video. Okay, so let's talk about what actual flows this could mean, right? So we've got some screenshots here. And what's really important to note is, should you even do post-purchase flows? Because there are some niches, for example, $2,000 couches, where most of your efforts must be pre-purchase because people don't buy your couches, too many couches in a year, right? Like how many of them do they actually buy? For them, I think post-purchase flows would make the most sense if I like to set a clear goal for each flow and a clear goal for each email. Like every email should do like one thing, in my opinion, at most. It shouldn't do more than one thing, um, or it will. I just never seen emails that have too many things perform too well, because there's a concept in psychology called the paradox of choice. I almost paused this video to remember it, but yeah, like when people, like email marketing is a disruptive marketing tool. People don't wake up to look at your emails, unfortunately, unless you are in the info product space. And I mean, even then I don't look forward to them. It's just like it's more pleasant because those emails tend to be more fun. E-commerce email tend e-commerce emails tend to be less fun. And with that being the case, we need to get one message across. One key reason why a lot of emails don't work is that, like, what's the point of this email? Like, why did you send this to me? What do you want me to do? Humans are very simple creatures, which is why emails like this work. 7 lines and one clear call to it's very clear in this email what I want you to do. There's often, like, does it ever happen to you that you look at an email and you're like, where do you want me? Okay, I can click, but like, where do you want me to go? And then you can be uncertain. Like, it can happen if you have multiple links that are not the same, for example. Like, even though, like, in your mind it makes total sense. Like, for example, I could have added a link here for Flash 10, which is the discount code for this brand. But then people are like, oh, should I click on Flash 10 or should I click here? Even though, like, in your mind it's really clear. This is why, for example, this beard brand email performs so great, because the two call to action buttons, they say the exact same thing on the text, and it's just greatness. Now, here's a very simple list of flows that, in my opinion, make sense. This is a fashion brand in the US, and it's not too expensive. I think the average order value is about maybe $50 to $80, something along those lines. And these last two flows have been set up 5 days ago. Okay. And yeah, we've got welcome series, which also for this brand includes post purchase. So that's like someone that purchased once. And then after that, whenever they cross the $500 mark, they receive VIP flow number one, where we give them a 25% discount. This brand is doing, this is the same one that I shared with you with some results earlier, who's doing, yeah, like these numbers. Actually, it's gone up since then. Like now it's like 320K. So, yeah. And then we also let them know that once they get to $1,000 plus spend, then they will get an even bigger discount. So it's kind of like this discount ladder approach. And there are different methods to discounting. So some people like to discount like high. It starts high and then it goes down, which is also an okay approach. You can make arguments for both. In my experience, the one that has worked the best and what clients tend to prefer the most as well is the increasing approach, where you offer 10% for the lowest amount of investment and you go up from there, like 10 to 30%, and then you give it to them like based on their level of engagement or investment. Here's a very simple breakdown of a pretty well performing post purchase flow that you could build. In my opinion, if you're making less than 50K a month, it's perfectly fine to have just like 3 emails, unless your product is like really consumable, in which case I do think like 5 emails in post purchase at least does make sense. If you're making under 20K, then just have 3 and then just forget about it, or 2 even. um, Once again, unless you're selling like coffee or supplements, in which case a lot of your email focus should be, especially low ticket supplements, should be on the post purchase. And you should time your emails based on when you think the products will arrive and when you think they are about to run out. So not on the day when they run out, but like 5 days before. Or you can let them know like 7 days before, which is why also, by the way, subscriptions can work great. This is going to be a topic for another video. Unfortunately, subscriptions aren't as searched on YouTube, so I'm gonna need to have a think about like what sort of when that will make sense, because I'm trying to cover the most of the videos that get searched the most. Anyway, let's get to it. So email one, order confirmation and next steps. This is typically like new customer email. This is typically the spot where you can introduce the brand, about us. Here's what we like, why we started this company, like stuff like that, and storytelling. This is the email. Whatever you're doing in your email marketing, this is the email that will get opened the most of the time. Okay. And this is the email where you have the most attention, unless you have a terrible subject line or something that I'm not thinking about can happen right now, because they just bought something, so they will open this email. Or if they won't, then they might not open any of your emails. um, yeah, set expectations, estimated delivery time, and tracking link is amazing if you use like after ship, for example. Let me just add this in there, after ship. So this is a tool that many e-commerce tools use. I think it's a Shopify app as well, so you can add that through there. So yeah, great tool to use. There are some other ones, but 8 out of 10 times, if someone has a tracking tool, they will be using after ship. You can add a personal touch. Yeah, like I mean, this is not in my, I wouldn't say pay grade, but just not in my like area of what this channel is about. But whenever like scale the unscalable can be done, for example, like a handwritten note is something that I love on the delivery of a product, and also a handwritten note at the end of emails. So you can add it. It can even be an image of like your like band, like Jason, whatever. Okay, we've got that one. If your product is not super straightforward to use, make sure to include some like how-to guides, because they will actually people will appreciate that. Make it soft selling approach, as Lao Tzu was suggesting. And yeah, and then review requests. So this, I like to do this from let's say a repeat purchase more. And by the way, this is a really cool spot if you're doing a repeat purchase email, where you can add like 5 stars, like how did we do? How would you rate our experience? This is not gonna do any stars unless you're using like Klaviyo reviews, for example, or Smile.io, or Looks is another good app. This is gonna be also covered in another video, but basically, if they rate you 1 to 3 stars, you could have those stars, like it can be a line, it can be like a table block. We've got 3 stars and then the last two, which would make it like 5, right? So the first three, it leads to uh, just a contact form where they can send you their thoughts about, and this will be our customer complaint, which is fine. And then the 4 and 5 star reviews, you can also make it just the 5 star review if you want to be extra safe. That will lead them to Trustpilot, for example, or it can lead them to whatever Google reviews or the Klaviyo reviews, or whatever application you're using, or whatever you want them to review you. And this is a great way to build up your reviews online of the people who like you, which will be seen by other people. This is a good way to like improve your reviews with like without the risk of like sending someone to Trustpilot who's had a bad experience for you with for whatever reason. Because the bigger you grow, there will always be people complaining. So yeah, just let them send their thoughts, and maybe it can be actually useful feedback for you, or let your customer team deal with that one. Um, yeah, and then you can also do. This is going to be once again another like there's just so much to discuss with loyalty programs. Very simple thing. If you want to get started with loyalty programs without having to listen to or wait for that other video, uh, add the Smile.io application on your Shopify store, and let them explain you the rest, and you can activate it. And there's a few other tools like stamped.io is fine. I think Smile might be smile. Yeah, I think it's IO, I'm pretty sure. Um, Stamp.io is also a really good one. And by the way, if you're selling, once again, really high, like above $100 average order value, in my opinion, is if you anticipate them not to buy again, I would, in that case, make the point of the emails mostly about leaving reviews and referrals. So there are very simple tools like Referral Candy, for example, that allows you to, hey, like, do you have a friend who also wants a $2,000 couch? Send this to them, and they can get some kind of benefit, maybe a discount on their next purchase. Or, I mean, the best solution could be to have some not so expensive products that you sell, like maybe pillows, I don't know, like something that people buy, like candles, like very simple. This is more like a business growth approach and profit maximization. But yeah, like there could be some upsells or cross sells of products. Like ideally you shouldn't have just one product in your store, even though that's like the best winning product, um, because then on your back end that will make things a lot easier. Like in an ideal situation, you don't only sell that $2,000 couch. Okay, that's just some like other ideas. Clearly I'm not following the time stamps here. um, yeah, just wanted to cover the quick mistakes before doing some final takeaways, and skipped 2 sections, which is fine, but I just thought the video would be best this way. So common mistakes, 4 of them. One, sending too many emails too fast. Yeah, like ideally, I think you should have like 1 day delay at least between flow emails or automated emails. And you could also, one cool feature in Klaviyo is you can set the time delays where 1 day ends, may send it at 10:06 a.m. 10:06 a.m. If you're uncertain when is your best time to send, by the way, enable Google Analytics and it will tell you. Or if you have more than 12,000 people, use the smart send time test on your campaigns, and then you will find out. But if you don't have any of these things at the moment, make sure you set up Google Analytics, and make sure you watch the other videos that I've uploaded about which will help you with all the rest. But quick solution, 10:06 a.m. Okay, recipient time zone. Very simple, like quick win. I just noticed that time to be pretty decent. Actually, it was a client's idea because it's when people in the office are like kind of arriving. You skip the 10 a.m. the people who are sending at 10 a.m. and it will get opened a decent amount of times. Or if you're selling like CBD or like weed, for example, which um, I don't know, this is, yeah, I'm not saying you should or anything like this, but if you do, then maybe 7 p.m. I just noticed like when selling those kind of products, obviously in states where this is legal, then they don't wake up very early. It's just a funny thing. Okay, back to the serious stuff. Second mistake, not optimizing for mobile. So yeah, this should be very clear. Every email should be mobile first. So whenever you're designing, I don't think you should spend too much time on designing, but if you are in that sort of niche, make it mobile optimized first. Very simple way to make things not blurry and like pixelated and unprofessional is just make the designs bigger. So like when you design it, make it like 1200 pixels times 1200, or yeah, like 1200 pixels minimum in terms of like width, because emails will come through 600 pixels in most screens. So if you oversize them, like double, like it can be 1500, whatever, then it will come off better. Using generic non-personalized messaging. So this is something that was, obviously this script was edited by ChatGPT. This is something I disagree with. On abandoned cart flow, yeah, you can add the dynamic product block, but and you can mention their first name if you know it, but or the first name tag. But otherwise, I think this is Fugazi, it's a Guzi, it's a Gazi, it's a doesn't exist. And then number 4, forgetting to segment between new and returning customers. Once again, if you're making less than 50K and you're not in a like supplements or subscriptions or very clear consumable products that people buy every month, skincare is another example, like beef tallow honey balm is a common one. If you're not in one of those niches, don't worry too much about this, in my opinion. Okay, just have one simple post-purchase flow and do the rest. And if you are if you are making above 50K, don't spend time on this and just pay me. Okay, because it's like it's gonna be a waste of time for you and it's too complicated. So that's the takeaways. I disagreed with most of the things that was suggested by me from chat, as per usual. If you got this far in the video, thank you so much. Love you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Did I miss any of the engagement metrics? I don't know. Maybe. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.